2007, Xiaoshan, Hangzhou, China. An 18-year-old girl was found dead in a rented room. Nothing at the scene had been ransacked. There were no obvious signs of a struggle. Even the cash on her was still there. The only thing missing was a cheap mobile phone, and the only piece of evidence police recovered was a cigarette butt left near the door. 18 years later, the killer's name finally emerged from that very cigarette butt. I am Record Officer Number 11. The piece of evidence brought into the archive today is a cigarette butt. It lay dormant inside an evidence bag for 18 years. Yet, what it remembered lasted longer than anyone else's memory. February 8th, 2007, a little after 8 p.m., inside a rented room in Xiaoshan district, Hangzhou, a young woman named Weng Xiu was found dead. She lay quietly on the bed. Her clothes were neatly arranged. There was no blanket over her. At first glance, she looked as if she were asleep, but after examining the body, forensic investigators discovered that she had been strangled to death. What was even stranger was that there were almost no signs of a struggle. The room was tidy. The door lock was intact. It looked as though someone, before leaving, had carefully cleaned the scene. Every fingerprint, every footprint, had almost completely disappeared. But near the doorway, crime scene investigators found one thing: a cigarette butt. Police soon discovered something else. The cash on Weng Xiu was still there, her bag had not been searched, but one thing was missing: her phone. It was an ordinary mobile phone, nothing valuable, nothing special. Investigators dialed the number. The first time, the call went through. No one answered. The second time, the phone was switched off. Someone had it, and that person was very likely the killer. But then came the question: if this was just a robbery, why kill her? And if it was murder, why take only the phone? No one had an answer. The case fell into confusion. During the investigation, one of Weng Xiu's co-workers recalled a detail. About an hour before the murder, a young man came to the salon. He exchanged a few words with Weng Xiu. The two appeared to know each other. They even smiled at each other. Soon after, Weng Xiu left with him. It was the last time anyone saw her alive. Her co-worker remembered that the man was about 1.7 meters tall. He had dyed blonde hair, styled upright, and dressed fashionably. But in 2007, surveillance cameras were nowhere near as common as they are today. Police could not find him, and the DNA recovered from the cigarette butt matched no one in any database. The trail went cold. 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. The police never stopped comparing the DNA. Every time the database was updated, that DNA profile was run through the system again. But the result was always the same: no match. The case file grew thicker and thicker, yet the identity of the suspect remained a mystery. Then came 2025. 18 years had passed. New forensic technologies had emerged, and at last the cigarette butt began to speak. Forensic specialists re-examined the old evidence, and a name finally emerged: Zhang Mohao, born in 1990, just 17 years old at the time of the crime. No criminal record, no prior arrests. He was now married, had children, and on the surface appeared to be an ordinary factory owner in Guangdong, but his DNA was a perfect match to the DNA left at the crime scene 18 years earlier. Police quietly collected a new sample, then tested it again and again. There was no mistake, no discrepancy, no doubt. The killer from 18 years ago had finally been found. During questioning, Zhang confessed to everything. He said that the Lunar New Year was approaching. At the time, he was only an apprentice worker. He had very little money, but he wanted a mobile phone, something he could show off when he returned to his hometown. Then, one day, as he passed the salon, he noticed the phone in Wenxiu's hand, and a criminal thought entered his mind. He followed Wenxiu back to her rented room. His plan, he claimed, was simply to steal the phone and run. But Wenxiu fought back. In the chaos, he grabbed her by the neck and squeezed harder and harder, until the young woman stopped struggling. Afterward, he wiped down the scene, removed as many traces as he could, took the phone, and fled in panic. But one thing was left behind: a cigarette butt, forgotten near the doorway, and that tiny piece of evidence would remain in the room, waiting for 18 years. 18 years. He thought he had gotten away with it. He bought a house, got married, had children, and lived what appeared to be a normal life. But some things cannot be erased by time. That cigarette butt remained in the deepest corner of the evidence locker, waiting for technology to catch up with the truth. I am Record Officer Number 11. The piece of evidence archived today is a cigarette butt. It cannot speak, yet it spent 18 years pointing to a killer. And the next item brought into the evidence room may be nothing more than a trace someone thought no one would ever notice.